Hello guys, welcome back to Hollywood Recapped. Today I will recap you a movie named Unicorn released in year 2018. Spoiler alert ahead and take care. We start off with Malory and Caleb as they try to go through with the proposal. Finally Caleb gets the question out and Malory agrees. When people walk through the car they start to applaud, but Malory points out they've been engaged for 4 years. Caleb is re-proposing and this time he's using an actual tooth as the ring. After this we see that family and friends are gathered for an event. Malory goes to say hello to her mom. Her mother isn't too excited about the fact that they got a hotel and aren't staying. When Malory mentions that they can walk around naked then everything seems to be okay again. Her mother takes them outside and introduces them to rest of the friends and then Malory sends Caleb away to put her parents in their place after making it clear that they're going to set a date. Her parents walk off to some other guests. After this we see that Malory's sister announces that she and her boyfriend are having twins and Caleb points out that they got re-engaged. When asked if that was a surprise Malory's mother explains how a real wedding invitation would be a surprise. While dancing that night they try to come up with potential wedding themes and times, but they can't agree on anything. Everyone goes to the dance floor and they spot that Malory's parents are dancing with a young and attractive woman. After making it to the car everyone knows that Malory and Caleb are just not used to all of this. They even get talked into taking Henry back to the retirement home on their way. On the way Henry tells them how youth is wasted on the young people like them. Caleb and Malory head to the hotel after dropping Henry off and she talks about how weird her parents are. Now that she knows what they're into, she can't get the thought out of her brain. But Caleb can't seem to stop thinking about it in a different way. He questions her whether they're a fun couple, she assures him that they're their own type of fun and then they go to bed. Next we see that the two of them decide to play as Canadian strangers that meet at the bar across the street. And Caleb decides that he's going to try and pick her up like they're complete strangers. Malory heads there and sits next to Jessie and she tries to keep up with her style and attitude. Once Jessie picks up that this isn't her usual hangout, she comes closer and tries to connect. Soon Jessie sends the bartender to the toilet to clean up a fake mess and then she pours herself some shots. Now that Malory feels like a free bird, just then Caleb walks into the bar and he approaches the girls. He starts to do the role play they had discussed. But Malory tells him that they're not doing that anymore. He sits next to Jessie and they try to show him their smooth move to get free shots, but then Malory knocks the entire bottle of bourbon over and down. The bartender kicks all of them out. Jessie decides that they should go back to her place. Back at Jessie's house, the couple see some really erotic and mystifying things and they start to think that they should leave. Just then Jessie comes in with alcohol and thanks them for living free with her. After a quick shot, Jessie goes to put on new music and she picks the most seductive way possible to crawl over to the record player. And then she turns her attention back to the couple and she points out the strong energies that she is picking up from both of them. Jessie literally feeds into everything they wish they were told and she has them in the palm of her hands. It almost seems like the two of them haven't touched each other for such a long time. Malory literally moans with ecstasy as Jessie touches her. Malory and Caleb head to the bathroom to converse about whether they're going through with this or not. And they decide that they're going to step out of their comfort zone for the night. They're worried about comfort zone, but once they agree to go with the flow. Caleb has no problem washing his junk. While Caleb freshens up, Jessie's enjoying her own vibe. When they go to join her, Malory tells Caleb that he shouldn't fall in love with her and he tells her the same thing. When they go back to the couch they find that Jessie's changing and they spot her silhouette through the curtain. Jessie comes back out and she makes herself at ease between the two of them. Jessie asks them to paint a picture in their mind of what their sex life is. Somehow they go deep and pull out some of the weirdest phrases also for people that are rather reserved. They don't hold into these things, just get hotter and hotter until the couple starts kissing on Jessie. But Jessie isn't about that and she tells them that it's embarrassing. They thought that she would want to have a threesome with them, but they point out all the signs that she's giving out. Jessie still kicks them out and they immediately try to figure out why she wouldn't want to. Once they get in an Uber taxi they start to talk about the rules and restrictions for their journey to find a unicorn. They want to prove that they're a fun couple and that Jessie was wrong. Soon the Uber picks up another girl and they find out that she's going to a nightclub. They decide to join her and they end up at a male strip club. When they tell the strippers that they don't have any cash to tip, the manager comes to tell them that they should leave the club. Then Caleb goes to tell the manager that he had a gay experience. After sharing his experience the manager introduces himself as Tyson and he allows them to stay. And not only that, but he pours them liquor and talks about how he found out that he liked guy experiences. Caleb starts to label him as gay, but Tyson keeps telling him that his attempts to label everyone is what restricts him. Once they open up some more, Tyson takes couple to the private section for drinks and he puts on a show and teaches Caleb how to dance. They get up close and personal, and the entire time Tyson keeps getting them closer and closer to crossing the line of innocence, discovery and indulging fantasy things. In reality got so hot that Caleb goes to start pleasuring Tyson. But Malory jumps in and tells Caleb to stop. The couple apologize to Tyson, but he assures them that this is all normal when a couple is trying to figure out where they stand. Tyson offers them some more drinks and he's happy since he already came twice. Tyson tells them that they need a professional and he gives them the number of April. Malory calls April to find the prices and she agrees to come for couples massage. Malory starts to get the apartment ready and Caleb goes to get ice. While he's out for ice he is stopped by Malory's brother-in-law who is drinking by the pool side and Caleb finds out that he and his wife actually cheated on each other. He tries to console him, but he finds out that the twins that the Malory's sister is carrying might not be even his. Caleb asks him what he's going to do next and it boils down to loving his wife. Finally Caleb heads back to the room and Malory points out that April is already here. But he's expressing some doubts and they still end up drinking. April gets down to brass tacks and she asks them where they want to do their massage and Malory tells to do it on the bed first. April gets almost naked and climbs on top of Malory to give her a nice massage. Eventually, April invites Caleb to join them and she starts kissing the two of them. April gets really personal with Malory and she's absolutely loving it. Caleb can't help but feels a little uncomfortable though and he goes to the bathroom. After watching how much Malory is enjoying it, he convinces himself that he just needs to get in there, but it definitely doesn't work out. In the middle of the act Caleb decides that this isn't working for him. He blows up on the two of them and he points out that he is the one being left out, but Malory turns this around to prove that this is why he doesn't follow through on anything he wants. She points out that this may be probably part of the reason that they haven't married yet. Soon Katie shows up asking about whether they've seen Charlie and Caleb mentions that he saw him by the pool. When April goes, Katie mentions that of course tonight is the night that Malory decides to have another threesome. Malory tries to explain that she just didn't want him to be jealous, but he says that he's just confused. After a silent moment Caleb decides to leave to get Charlie. All four of them ride in silence to Malory's parents. The parents are definitely enjoying their day, but the young couples are definitely in their own thoughts. Malory's father tries to explain that the key to happiness is to learn how to forgive, accept and move on. Suddenly Malory and Caleb realize that they forgot to pick up Henry on the way and they head to the retirement home. Caleb tries to ask what they're going to do, but Malory just takes a nonchalant attitude with things. When they get to the retirement home, they find out that Henry actually died the night before. The attendant even tries to explain that he's not properly trained for this sort of situation and he points out that their Henry is actually still alive. They even wheeled the other Henry's dead body out right behind of them. The attendant explains that they still can't go to Henry's room because they're not on the approved family member list. But Malory and Caleb decide that they need to win today. They tried different techniques to get the attendant away from the desk, but he's too good at his job. Eventually Caleb drops a spare smoke grenade in a trash can out front and Malory sneaks up to Henry's room. Eventually, she comes running outside with Henry and they jump into the car and the attendant calls for help. After the smooth getaway Malory and Caleb can't help but bond over their kidnapping. Once they get to the venue, Henry decides to try out his speech in the car with them and they realize that they really do love each other. They decide to finally tie the knot in the car with Henry officiating and it couldn't have been any more perfect for them. Once Henry gets out of the car the two of them kiss each other and apologize for all the crazy things that they had got the previous night. Once they realize that, Henry secretly wed them in the car and they look at each other with love and disbelief. The movie ends here. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below which movie should I recap next.